What is up? Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And today, on the episode, I will be talking about how to manage and potentially reverse PCOS. But before we dig in, I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you're here, that means a lot. Spending your day listening to me talk about random stuff. Just kidding, it's not random, it's health and fitness related. So kudos to you trying to improve your life and listening to me talk about things that can help you anyway. I appreciate it, really. And if this show resonates with you, please share it. Share it with somebody in your life who you think it could help. Rate my show and subscribe. That helps me get in front of more people and help more people. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm excited to jump in to this topic. I've helped quite a few people with PCOS, I guess before I dig in, I'll explain what PCOS is. So what PCOS stands for is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And really what it is, it's a hormonal imbalance that's caused by some form of insulin resistance. So in general, most of the stuff that I'm talking about today is going to help people with insulin resistance. So if you're pre-diabetic, if you're diabetic, if you're high stress, you probably have some form of insulin resistance as well. And the things I'm going to talk about today will be really beneficial for you. So if you don't already have one, pull up a notebook, notepad, if you're one of these 4 people, and take notes. These things I'm going to talk about today, you'll be able to start applying and hopefully start to see some benefits. So yeah, this is not I'm going to talk about how many benefits you get from this thing and then not share it. No, I will be talking about exactly what I do with my clients to help them with this problem. So number one thing that you should start doing if you have PCOS or some form of insulin resistance is strength training. Hands down, strength training is the best way. Proper strength training is the best way to make your body more insulin sensitive and help reverse some of that insulin resistance. Sometimes words are hard. And essentially what insulin resistance is, to dig down a little bit deeper, is your body adapts to higher levels of sugar in your blood and doesn't produce as much insulin to help regulate that. And that can cause a whole slew of problems, usually difficulty losing weight, obesity, low energy, lethargy, brain fog, chronic fatigue, difficulty metabolizing carbohydrates. So that's what it looks like. Your body is incapable of handling things. And so oftentimes people who have PCOS or some form of insulin resistance, their metabolism isn't functioning super optimally. So most people struggle to lose weight if you have PCOS or some form of insulin resistance. So the best way to combat that is to start to get strong and build muscle, because muscle is going to pull that sugar from your bloodstream. When you use your muscle, it'll pull that sugar from your bloodstream and utilize it. So you'll have less sugar in your blood. So you'll have a better fasting glucose. And you'll just be better capable of consuming carbohydrates without having those negative reactions that you have now when you do overconsume, without those big blood sugar spikes and dips. Lean muscle tissue is super important for overall health and longevity. But yeah, specifically handling blood sugar. So if you're not already strength training, that's crucial. And if you do want a proper strength training routine, just shoot me a message and I'll send one your way. And my Instagram should be in the bio if it's not already. But yeah, strength training, super important, super important. This is in the evening. I had a busy day, and so I'm a little tired, as you can see. But yeah, number 1, getting really strong, strength training, focusing on building muscle tissue. That's going to be super crucial. Number 2, which most of you might not even think about. But as I touched on before, the 4 types of people that these habits are going to help are people with diabetes, prediabetes, stress, and PCOS. So all forms of insulin. Most people who are very high type A, high stress, tend to have some form of insulin resistance, and it's due to stress. So stress management is going to be crucial. It's going to be crucial. If you don't have some form of practice that helps you just get out of your own head, be present in the moment, and disconnect from those stressors and regulate your nervous system, that's going to be crucial. Really, it's super important. And that can be anything from going on a walk outside without your phone, meditation, breath work, prayer, journaling. And my favorite's going on a walk outside without my phone, without any distractions. I struggle to sit still, so it's probably the thing that I should do. And I have meditated in the past, and it was very beneficial. But personally, going on the walks keeps me busy a little bit to where I'm not thinking about all the other things. I'm like focusing on my movement. But yeah, high stress can elevate blood sugar levels, which is shocking to most people. I actually had a little bit of insulin resistance when I started with my coach, not because I was an unhealthy body composition, not because my diet was poor, but because my stress was so high that my body developed insulin resistance. But as I've stated before, healing my gut health allowed me to get to a healthier body composition that I'm more comfortable in. And now I'm eating, like, on training days, 400 grams of carbs a day. So we're chilling is the point of that. But yeah, it's crazy how much stress impacts your metabolic health. So managing that is going to be key. Then number 3, as I talk about always, the foundation of health, sleep. Sleep is crucial. Oftentimes, a lot of the clients that come to me that have PCOS or some form of insulin resistance, they are not sleeping enough. Like at all. Like they're sleeping maybe 8 hours, maybe 6 hours a night, right? And the ideal is 7 to 9. Closer to 8, the better. So just not getting enough rest and recovery, and that's a stress on the body. So prioritizing your sleep, getting a sleep routine in place, stopping eating 3 hours before bed, reducing fluids 2 hours before bed, getting off your phone at least an hour before bed, and really having a practice that helps wind you down so you get better quality sleep. That's going to be crucial. Sleep. Sleep is super important. And then number 4 is diet, but not just, eat whole foods. Yes, that's really important, but the order of the foods that in which you eat them can help mitigate those blood sugar spikes and can help reverse a lot of those, the blood sugar spikes, which can help with the insulin resistance and put you in a more insulin sensitive state. So protein, I talk about protein all the time. If you're new here, I talk about protein all the time, but those of you who aren't know that. And so prioritizing protein in general is going to help tremendously. It's going to help with that muscle building. It's also going to help just in general mitigate blood sugar spikes. So specifically, if you're eating at all and you have PCOS or a form of diabetes, or even just have been diagnosed with insulin resistance, making sure that every time you eat, it's a meal is going to help tremendously. And by meal, it doesn't have to be like 500 plus calories. I just mean it has to have a protein, fat, fiber, and carb. Because if you're just eating carbs on their own, they tend to create a bigger spike in blood sugar because it doesn't have the fats or the fiber or the protein to slow down the digestive process. If you don't have any form of insulin resistance, then this does not apply to you. You can have carbs. I eat carbs on their own now because I have to eat 400 grams a day. And so sometimes it's a little bit difficult to fit those in. So you don't need, if you're not insulin resistant, you don't need to do that. But if you are insulin resistant, this is going to help tremendously. It's like in and of itself, this one hack, just eating meals that are complete, can help. It's probably one of the biggest rocks. Besides, I say strength training, number one, then this one. Well, I guess it depends on the person, right? Because maybe you're already strength training and you're pretty much doing this meal structure already, but you're not sleeping enough and your stress is out of is crazy. Your stress levels are crazy. I'm tired and I'm noticing that my brain isn't functioning optimally, so I apologize. But the information that I'm telling you is important and beneficial. This is just not the best podcast I've done. Anyway, yes, so case dependent, whichever one of these you're not doing, that's going to move the needle the furthest. But anyway, meals. Most of the people that come to me, their nutrition is off base, I'd say, like it's not optimal. And so these little hacks make a big difference. Prioritizing whole foods, prioritizing protein, and then eating complete meals. Additionally, prioritizing fiber is crucial. Fiber really slows down that digestive process, so it helps mitigate a big blood sugar spike, which allows your body to better handle the carbohydrates that are going to go into your bloodstream. And then even more nuanced is eating your protein and fiber first with each meal right now. If you have insulin resistance, caveat, if you have insulin resistance. As I touched on already, if you do not have insulin resistance, the nutrition guidelines specifically, obviously prioritizing protein, fiber, and whole foods are going to be important, but the order with which you eat things and the meal structure specifically, not as important. Especially if you're trying to build muscle, go into a bulk, or just maintain overall health, you might not necessarily need to eat your protein and fiber first. If you're trying to lose weight or you tend to struggle with cravings and overindulgences, then yes, these things will still apply. But usually what I've noticed is when people's blood sugar levels get back to a healthy baseline and their gut health is optimized, they don't have as many cravings or other things like that. So anyway, in summation for nutrition, prioritize protein, fiber, whole foods, eat protein and fiber first, and make sure that all your carbs are eaten as a meal. So meaning you've got protein, fats, fibers, and carbs all in one together. Okay. And number 5, movement. So if you're not already moving 8,000 steps a day, that's going to help tremendously. But another little tiny hack is going on a 5 to 10 minute walk after each meal can help manage a blood sugar spike as well. So highly recommend that if you're not doing that already. And again, 5 to 10 minutes, that's super short. But if you're like, let's say it's the winter time and it's like the sun's setting at like 5 and you eat dinner at 6 and the sun's already set, it's cold outside, or you're going out to dinner with some friends at a little bit of a later time and you can't manage to go on a walk, doing like, while you're seated, doing little calf raises under the table will allow your body to utilize some of that blood sugar or some of that sugar in your blood and manage that blood sugar spike. So it'll help pull some of the glycogen that's in your blood into your muscles. So it'll basically help manage your blood sugar spike. So any sort of movement after you eat can help. The walking's easy, low intensity. It also helps with digestion, which I like. But if you're in a pinch, doing those little seated calf raises while you're seated at the table can help tremendously. So yeah, those were the 5 things that I thought of today as I was whipping up this episode together. So in summation, if you have any form of insulin resistance, prioritize strength training. Be in the gym 2 to 4 times a week. You don't need anything more than that. If you want a sample strength training routine, shoot me a message. I'll send that your way. Number 2, manage your stress. Manage your stress. It's crucial. Try a technique that gets you present in the moment and helps relieve some anxiety. Number 3, sleep. Prioritize it. Get a sleep routine going if you haven't already. And shoot for 7 to 9 hours a night. Number 4, nutrition. Protein, fiber, whole foods, and eat complete meals. Then number 5, daily movement. Go on walks after you eat. Go on walks after you eat. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I'm sorry for yawning and my thoughts not being as fluid as usual, but thank you for listening. And if this episode was super helpful for you, please rate the show, subscribe, or if you know someone who does have PCOS and they're really trying to manage it naturally without having to take a pharmaceutical, not that I'm opposed to it, but some people might not want to, send this their way. This can help them tremendously, just especially if they're willing to change their lifestyle and make changes. And I have a free, customized, personalized metabolic blueprint quiz that will give you a 12-page blueprint on how you can optimize your metabolism to improve your fat loss results. So if you're interested in that and this episode was helpful, it's completely free. There's a link down below that you can click on and fill out that quiz and get your personalized blueprint. I think that'd be super helpful with these tips. Those two paired together, you're bound for success. But if you know that you want that extra accountability, there's also a link below to book a discovery call. So just do that. We can set up a time to chat, and I'd love to learn more about you and your goals and just help you out. I've been there. I've struggled, and if I can help somebody avoid the same pitfalls and mistakes I've made, that's my goal. So anyway, thank you for listening. And again, I got free resources down below. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.